It's far too early for this.
Is that why you're wearing sunglasses?
Yeah, and I forgot my glasses. I wish.
Your question for today.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about Resident Evil in the podcast.
Yes.
Which one is your favorite and why?
Game or movie?
Game.
Oh.
Obviously.
Probably Code Veronica.
Why?
Because you get to go to an island, and it's all about this like weird little girl that's just like torturing you, and then like giant monster comes out and just like ah! I mean, it's pretty sick.
So you're trying to be a special snowflake and not go through like one of the mainline series? I'm surprised they didn't say Resident Evil Outbreak Files number 2 or something like that.
No, Outbreak Files number 2 suck.
All right, Nick.
I just wanted to disagree with whatever you said.
I just don't care. Nick, you're in trouble. Get in the recording room.
Philadelphia Street, Whittier, California, at Undercity Comics, Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 105. My name is Nick Valera.
106. This is
Bryan. 106.
This is Bryan.
Rene.
Adam.
And welcome to the show. I said 106.
Hey, okay, you got to give him some slack. He did have the history.
That's true. You
I
gotta
was
stop
not-
getting hurt.
I'm not getting hurt. Okay, it's called.
Or your
No,
car.
it's called Mother Earth Hates Me.
Nick,
And
one of these days you're gonna come into the studio.
I was
You're gonna
not
be
gonna.
like, "Look, man, I'm gonna be honest. The only reason I came like half an hour late was because my house blew up.
Okay.
I got missile
Wait, hold
struck.
on. House blew. That's so
I was
strange.
Why not put
targeted.
that out
Let's
there?
hope that does not happen.
Yeah,
though. Let's
Bryan
hope
just
it-
put that out
Yeah.
there.
Okay, so my dad used to say it all the time. I have the greatest luck and also the worst luck.
It's a flip of a coin.
That's true, because remember prior to that, you got pickpocketed.
I got pickpocketed.
Yeah.
I've been
Oh, that-
pickpocketed
that's
before.
happened to
Yeah.
me.
My car broke down and I got heat
You
stroke.
got heat stroke.
How'd you
Yeah.
get pickpocketed?
I was at like a food market,
Really?
and then as I was walking in, somebody like
All right.
saw
Oh
my
my
ticket.
God.
No one should say pickpocketed anymore. The new term is pee-peed.
Pee-peed?
Oh my god.
Because everyone is saying pickpocketed. It is
That
like
is-
picked
Pickpocket.
So we're gonna call it pee-peed.
Yeah.
I've been PP'd
But-
That's a new term.
But when I went on
And
my
there haven't been PP'd yet. so-
but when I went on, but that's what I'm talking about. I have bad luck, but also I have like I'm never in the middle. I always have like really good luck or really bad
So
luck.
if you go to Vegas, you either lose all your life savings or you gain twice your life savings.
Yeah, like when I went on my cruise, I won.
I'm not
like,
gambling that.
No. Like when I went on my cruise, I ended up winning like $3,000 on the cruise, and my cruise, and basically I paid for my entire cruise just
And
by
then
gambling.
some.
So
Yeah,
are you
and
on
then
a
some.
are you
So-
on a bad luck streak right now?
I am.
Let's
I'm
go to
on a-
Vegas, guys, right after this episode.
No, dude, I just got back from Vegas. That was a very rough trip.
This one's gonna be great.
The Hangover
Yeah.
2, right? So before we move on to comic strips, our weekly segment now, which interestingly, like you guys like, huh?
I don't
It's like-
mind it. Yeah.
You don't mind it. Thanks. Okay, sure, thanks.
It's an interesting concept that we've been
It's-
doing.
it's-
Oh, yeah,
nice-
well, you went from liking it to, yeah, I don't mind it. Thanks, dude. All
No
right.
problem.
No, I like
Uh,
it. It's fun. I
Thank
get
you.
to-
Thank you. See, look. See, Nick is now.
Don't start. Keep going.
Go check out keepitupwiththenerds.com for all the up-to-date information. Our Real Addiction just released a new episode live on YouTube.
Finally, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, good job.
Thank you.
Actually
Appreciate
doing
that.
work.
Honestly,
I'm just kidding.
I've been
It's good.
doing work.
bro, I'm not gonna lie. For the longest time, I thought you were just lying.
About what?
Really?
Put it up the
Like, I thought-
video
like,
podcast.
yeah, like honestly, like for a while there, like he kept on going like, yeah, I'm working on it. Yeah.
I have.
No,
Hey,
yeah.
Hey, did you notice that the first live video podcast, Miguel wasn't in the room?
Yeah.
he was there in audio.
No, but that's the
Yeah.
thing is Nick has a strong belief that Miguel doesn't exist.
Miguel.
I'm
Because he's
being
never
serious.
met him.
I've never met Miguel.
Yeah.
He's a myth. At this point, I think he's an AI
that I've created.
you've created,
Oh, man.
and like he talks over.
That's
over
why he's
Discord.
not on every episode, because sometimes I'm rewriting the code. And
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
got to be put to
Yeah.
sleep for a bit. You're
Yeah.
updating software.
Yeah, and then you took photos of some like very handsome Hispanic gentleman. And you just and you made a profile for
That's a pretty interesting fan theory. We'll see as the show
It's
progresses.
not a fan theory. That's the truth.
If I choose to write that in, I'll see if I let the fans write the show. So.
Yeah, that's the truth.
So go check out our YouTube channel. Their first live podcast is up and running. And Adam, you did a great job. They're gonna keep growing. It's gonna keep getting better.
I swear to God, because whenever you comment someone, you always have like, you
A
did a
but?
good job.
But
No. We had to talk.
but you're
thing,
gonna
it's-
get better.
It's the same thing whenever we pitch an idea to Nick. Nick always says, "I like it,
But yeah, exactly. I always get angry because that's how I was raised. My mom was just like, "Oh, you did a good job, but you could have done better." And I'm like, "Oh, thanks, I guess."
Thanks,
Just
Mom.
once you hear
Hold
that,
on.
but it's
The
just like-
but usually comes with, but this is realistic. Like,
So YouTube to go check out Our Real Addictions first live podcast episode in 71. They talked about Thor: Love and Thunder. They also go into a deep dive of pretty
Yeah.
much all the Taika Waititi drama that's been going on, right?
Yeah, that and again, every time I feel like Marvel film comes out, the question is there fatigue?
no.
So
I feel like
Maybe.
it's all good.
Oh, that is an interesting thing. Yeah, it is an interesting thing to talk about. Go check him out. YouTube and anywhere you guys get your podcasts. Also, if you guys like what you guys heard here, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go follow us there at Keeping Up with the Nerds at 114 subs. We want to make it up to 200 soon. I want to get there going, guys. We're working on some stuff in the background, but go subscribe. Go like the video. Let us know what you guys think in the comment down section below. If you guys are listening to us on our audio podcast or wherever you guys get your audio podcasts, leave a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You guys can leave 5 stars if you guys like what you guys heard here. With that said, are we ready to jump into comic strips?
Dude. Absolutely.
Oh, socials. Don't forget Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Comic strips. Small, kind of, bit of news. I feel like it's more rapid paced this time around.
Yeah.
It's not like, a lot of stuff has come out today. But we're going to start with this. Anthony Starr is supposedly in talks. If you guys are not familiar who Anthony Starr is, Homelander, is in talks to play Dracula in the new Blade movie.
Oh, dude, I'm so in.
Yeah.
If that is the case, that'd be awesome. Anthony just needs to not punch people in the face when he's at a bar.
No, he's going to be biting him, right?
Yeah, like Dracula.
Right?
Like he can't get mad at people and then be like, "Oh, I'm Homelander," and then like punch people. Like he's not actually Homelander.
Yep.
You can't do that.
You can't
Wait,
blow
did he
people's heads
actually-
up.
did he actually do that in a bar? Like,
No, he
No,
was
he's
joking
show?
about
No, but he
Oh.
did get arrested for a bar fight.
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Oh, that's
It was like
right.
in Italy, yeah.
Yeah,
It
in
was
like
Italy.
Italy, he got arrested
right.
for a bar fight, and then like I think he had to spend like 4 months in jail.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Or
Extended
Jeffrey Bezos was like, "Oh yeah, here, just let
Bailed him
go."
out.
Yeah.
extended trailer
Let him out.
for The Mandalorian season 3 was leaked this week.
Yes.
And that's on the cusp of Comic-Con next week, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting.
Which is wild. I
So
can't believe
someone
that
messed up because
Some-
clearly it was.
It was from what you can hear. There's an audience.
Yeah.
There's definitely an audience. So I'm not sure if that was like a fan on, if that was supposed to be at Celebration, and it spread, and whoever held on to it waited until now,
Yeah.
because that's actually pretty smart. I'm gonna record it because right after Celebration, that's when they would be looking for it, more
Yeah.
or less, and then like weeks down the line, go drop it.
and that's
Because it would
big
stay up.
news.
Because right
It's a
now,
mic drop.
because the video's been up for at least a good 2-3 days. Like it
Yeah.
hasn't been pulled
Wow.
down yet. So I'm assuming that what they're gonna probably do at Comic-Con is they're gonna give like a better resolution.
Oh yeah, just gonna put it out.
It's
Yeah.
gonna release. Yeah.
Noah Schnapp, I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Yes.
Will, Byers from Stranger Things, confirms that Will is in fact gay and does love Mike.
Duh.
Shut up. Moving on. Emmy nominations were announced this week. This includes things like Succession, the series, with 25 nominations. Ted Lasso and White Lotus with 20 nominations. Hacks and Only Murders with 17. Euphoria with 16. Barry with 14. And Squid Games with 14.
Nice.
So we'll talk about more in that in depth later on. Or actually, you know what? Our Real Addiction. You guys can take that one.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Yeah,
We'll go into
more in depth
with
about it.
Yeah.
It is an interesting thing to talk about because the way I see this, a couple years back, streaming services were made fun of for being nominated, and now you
Yeah.
look at this list and it's all streaming.
It's the only thing.
Yeah.
It's the only
Yeah.
thing, which is awesome in my opinion.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I think streaming services make some of the best television nowadays.
Ted Lasso is that big one on that list for me.
Same.
Ted Lasso. You haven't seen it yet, have you?
No.
Neither have I.
Need to. You definitely need to see
Yeah.
it. As an Apple person, I'm surprised you don't have Apple TV.
I do have Apple TV.
Then why are you not watching Ted Lasso?
I have an excuse.
I just haven't. Have you seen Coda on there? That's pretty good. That
Who?
won the best motion picture.
Oh yeah,
Coda?
but I don't have Apple TV.
Oh, I'm sorry. to hear
I
that.
only had it for Ted Lasso.
Do you only buy it for Ted Lasso? And then
No, I want to buy it for Severance now.
Oh,
And
I hear
MLS.
that's really good.
They have
That's,
the right for
uh,
MLS now in soccer.
Oh, really?
So now I have to purchase it.
Now
So
you're like, oh.
that's why I had to
Severance
type.
is the M Night Shyamalan one, right?
Is it M Night Shyamalan?
I don't know.
There's he does something on Apple TV.
What?
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll talk more about that in depth if anyone chooses to talk about it.
No,
Rob Zombie has released the Munsters trailer. Yeah, I know. So that might not be talked about in this little section. Netflix teases Yu Yu Hakusho, the anime live action. We finally got a poster last night as of recording. Interesting. So
I
that
saw,
means
yeah.
that by the time this releases, we might have gotten a trailer already.
No, they said that they were going to release who's going to be playing Yusuke.
There you go. Daniel, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced this, Kuluya? He was in Black Panther. I forget the character he plays. But he's also in the new Nope, in the movie Nope.
Yes.
He has confirmed two things. One, he will not be appearing in Black Panther 2 due to scheduling conflicts because of Nope. Two, a live-action Barney movie is in the works. So that's an interesting thing that has come out from
Wait.
him.
Dinosaur?
Dinosaur Barney.
Okay.
Is he playing
Okay.
Barney?
I don't know.
I want him to play Barney.
Why?
Wait, who's going to be in the Barney movie?
Dude, I want
Daniel Kaluuya or however.
Really?
the
Yeah.
guy, the guy that was playing the the Ape King.
Uh-huh.
Him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was also in in Nope. Dude, that would be hilarious. Could you imagine him with his rustically dark, deep voice, just being Barney?
I love you.
Really
Two
quick.
more pieces of info.
That'd
Sorry.
be
So
great.
go on.
Sorry, I got the Severance. Ben Stiller
Ben
is the
Stiller.
director. is
Okay.
Severance. But
Thank
I don't know
you.
who's doing.
Oh, Severance is a movie, right?
No, it's a show.
It's a show?
Yeah.
With Ben Wyatt, the actor that plays Ben Wyatt.
Oh,
Adam
Adam.
Scott.
Yeah,
Adam
Adam
Scott.
Scott.
Two more pieces of info before we each pick a topic. Joe Dante, creator of Gremlins, has said that Grogu is a shameless copy of the Mogwai design.
I mean, have we ever known Hollywood to be original at all?
I mean,
Like-
they can't be. You got the Northmen,
I
right?
mean,
The originality
I
exists.
can totally understand them going like if you were to put, if you were to put a Gremlin and Grogu right next to each other, they look kind of similar.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, it's how you sell toys.
it's like if
Point
you
being-
shaved a Mogwai.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
it.
It's how you
Honestly?
sell toys.
Yeah, kind of. I wouldn't be surprised, but no, that guy just wants this.
Last piece of information, the Boys spinoff was announced to be in production pretty soon. It is going to be called Gen V and will be a mix of a college show, but also Hunger Games. So it's an interesting little tidbit. With that said,
interesting.
Renee, is there anything you want to take from
I'll
this
take
list?
the Boys spin-off show.
Boys
actually.
spin-off? All right.
That looks really interesting. I'm kind of hoping that they stay true to the vibe of how The Boys is, where it's just ridiculous after each episode or each season.
Okay.
The cast is very young, so we get to see them for a while. If it's like a Hunger Games-esque, then that means we're going to see some people die in ridiculous ways, I think.
They
That'll be
have
awesome.
to.
Yeah.
It's-
And we're going to see some ridiculous powers. I
You're
hope.
not afraid that the boys will have a little bit of a fatigue? Like,
I don't think so because we're getting pretty big gaps in between each season. So it'd be nice to have like this Boys season 4, Gen V,
Gen V.
and then Boys season 5, and then Gen V.
It's not. It's not. The Walking Dead that has like 4 shows on TV right now.
Some of those are like
Limited
6
series.
episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though, is that part of me is excited for it. The other part of me is kind of like, because I think I mentioned it before, where I love that The Boys is getting a lot of attention. I just hate the new crowd that's coming in that just started watching The Boys
Yeah.
after season 3 that are making these statements like The Boys is the best show on television ever. And it's like, no, like, it's a different breed of television. It's a different breed of show. It's much more extreme and exaggerated in terms of the violence and the ideology that revolves around the characters.
Well, it makes sense to do a spin-off show now because after season 3,
Success.
you grab a whole new audience
Yeah.
now.
Perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And you want to see that. You want to see this world grow because it is.
Which is it. sorry.
It went into, like you've said this before, Nick. This show went following the comics and then just did a full 180 and it went in a different direction.
Which is smart.
Why not do that by adding a different show to it and expanding this universe and showing us a different side
Not
of it?
only that, but also you got a lot of pretty young viewership for the show.
Yeah.
Just because Jensen Ackles was on.
Yeah.
Jensen Ackles being on the show really did bring in that that CW kind of fan base that were into that darker humor.
That makes sense.
And now like you kind of have this, they enjoyed it, and it's like, okay, cool. We're gonna give a show to them. Like we're just gonna give them a show, and it's all about these college kids / teenagers, because all those people should be in like their mid-20s, maybe like late teens.
Yeah.
No.
So that's perfectly inside of that demographic.
Yeah.
Question about the boys spinoff: is anybody from the main cast returning
No.
to
Not
the
enough.
spinoff?
You know what? I think that it would be so funny if you do have a couple of people. Like, I would love to see Lamplighter show up as a teacher
Yeah.
or something like
Or the
that,
Deep.
or the Deep,
Yeah.
Deep showing up as like a special guest lecturer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that. I think that kind of stuff would be hilarious. I just want to see that. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't need anybody else.
It doesn't say what time frame it takes place.
That's what I was about.
Oh,
to
I
ask.
think they mentioned it was supposed to be either like right before or during the events of like
Season.
early days of the boys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Then you can have a whole fun with like the 7.
Yeah.
Like, you can have the guy that plays translucent.
Yeah,
you can
because
have his
that's
yeah.
the thing is it's these are kids that are learning to adapt to the usage of Compound V.
That'd be kinda
So
weird.
yeah,
I
I
actually
think
don't
it might be
like it.
before.
Because then you could have like translucent just like creeping on teenage girls.
But that's the point of the boys.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
thing.
it's their extreme and
because I'm trying to think of like, oh man, if you had translucent,
Yeah.
he was like a guest lecturer.
You have A-Train on there.
Yeah, you could have A-Train just walking around, which I just like zipping around, just zoop, zoop, zoop. Yeah,
All right, so the boys spin-off you're interested in.
I'm definitely interested because I want to see more of the world of the boys. And Eric Kripke has shown that he can obviously just put out a show now and just everyone will love it.
All right.
yeah.
Adam, what are you excited for from this list? Or what do you want to talk about on this list?
I'm gonna piggyback off of Nick, so we know what he's talking about.
No, don't do that. Don't piggyback.
ahead.
It's his.
I'm picking.
No, go ahead.
No.
go
Because we
ahead.
all know what he's picking, and so
Oh,
we'll
so-
have,
so you have
so
a-
he's waiting for
yeah.
Nick
Okay,
to
so
choose.
so wait, all right. Okay, so I want to talk about the Mandalorian trailer leak. I'm just kidding.
Oh my god!
So I was holding this knife. I'm about to cut someone, you know.
In all honesty, like I see this list, and the thing that kind of sticks out to me the most, probably the Anthony Starr announcement that
As
he's playing Dracula.
Yeah. For the Blade movie.
Yeah, it's a very interesting idea because he's such a great actor, and we talked about it before. I think off the show, where he would make a great Reverse Flash,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Because he's got that very like insane mentality of an act. Like if you wanted to play him as a like an insane villain, he can totally do it.
Yeah.
I just love the idea of like now he's going to be typecasted as a villain for a while now.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And it's just like, could you imagine if somebody was like, "Oh, listen, man, you got crazy eyes, but it
Yeah.
works for you."
yeah.
That's
If
you're gonna
you're
make
making
you're gonna make a career on crazy eyes. So
It-
that's because that's his entire thing. I can totally see him with those pulsating those eyes that are just like popping out of his like skull,
Yeah.
and like he's just like looking down with the fangs and he's all pale. It'd be great.
If you're making bank, I don't see the reason why.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
he wants to change into a different character further down the line, which every actor should. I think that if you want to build that range, go for it. But right now, if he's in talks to play Dracula,
Honestly, it's working for him.
It's
also,
working.
I really want to see him work opposite Mahershala Ali.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's gonna be sick.
yeah.
What did you say Anthony Starr notable work was?
The boys as
Oh,
Homelander.
okay.
I think
Homelander,
that was
yeah.
well. He was bigger in Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
He was a
Okay.
New Zealand actor.
He was like a
before
New
anything.
Zealand actor, and he was allowed those.
He was also in Xena.
Warrior Princess.
Yeah.
Wow.
As what?
Just like in a couple episodes, he wasn't like
As
a
what?
regular. Here, I'll put up him and Carl Urban actually. Yeah.
I know Carl Urban was. In,
Also,
yeah.
they've worked together before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Carl Urban. I've seen some earlier. I was watching some earlier work with Carl Urban. The beard does a lot for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The beard doesn't because Carl Urban has this like weird neck that like connects into his chin.
So
and they're kind of seamless,
do
which
you,
is interesting. But with the beard, covers it up and makes it look like he has a very strong chin.
he didn't have that in the when he was McCoy in Star Trek.
What
the seamless neck?
Maybe it was as he got. Maybe it was just
It's,
because that was
it's
also when he was
gotten older.
flabbier.
Yeah.
Maybe that was when
Probably.
he was flabbier.
This is Anthony Starr right here.
Oh my
Oh,
god,
I've seen that photo.
bro! He was. Oh my, he looks evil there too.
Right, he's giving evil eyes too.
Dude, he has the same eyes.
Yeah.
He looks like he's about to laser beam me.
That's interesting.
Yep.
All right. Well, this is going to take up the majority of the show because
That's fine.
Yeah.
I challenge you to keep it under 5 minutes.
Ooh.
Can you do that? Both of you behave? Because it is a comic strips portion. It's not supposed to be a full-on podcast portion.
So, okay. we're
Can't make
hitting
Mm.
any promises.
20-minute mark right now.
20-minute mark? Okay, let's go.
So-
Mandalorian Season 3 trailer leak. Why are you guys excited about it?
Well, because
I mean, it's Mandalorian.
it's Mandalorian. But the coolest thing about it was that it showed a lot of Mandalore.
Yeah.
It showed.
So let's say this.
Yeah.
Spoilers, skip 5 minutes because you guys will be talking about
Oh, yeah.
the potential spoilers. Yes.
Skip 6 minutes.
5 minutes.
You took 30 minutes away from me. 30 seconds.
5 minutes, go.
So anyway, the cool thing about this is that you saw a lot of Mandalore. A lot of stuff that you see from the Siege of Mandalore in Clone Wars. You get to see the throne room that Satine dies in. You get to see the throne of Mandalore, because it kind of looks like Bo-Katan is unsuccessfully handed the throne. Because the only way to really take over that throne right now is to have the Darksaber, which is going to be weird because I'm almost positive when Mando goes to Mandalore, because right now he needs to have that moment of, I go to Mandalore so that way I can repent for taking off my helmet and become a Mandalorian again. When people see he has the Darksaber, it's going to lead to a faction. It's going to lead to like splittings, and even if Mando doesn't even want that, it's going to lead to people who are we're for the Darksaber and people who are loyal to Satine.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an entire thing because it looks like Mando on Mando fighting.
Yeah.
Which is pretty sick.
Yeah.
And I really want to see more of that. It looks like Mando gets a droid inside of his ship, where it looks like they fixed that droid pod.
It's no longer a Grogu pod?
Maybe, I don't know. It looks really interesting because it looks like Mando is holding him in his lap while he has a
Yeah.
droid inside of in the back.
It
An
could be.
astromech.
It could be where he needs a droid, and probably in an episode, maybe.
Yeah, it could just be that they needed a droid and he put him in there and like he socked him in and that's it. Yeah, I'm really excited. I can't wait.
Neither can I.
Any key? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say any key like points in the trailer that stood out to you guys, Adam.
Obviously, seeing Mandalore, because I feel like that's something Star Wars desperately needs,
Yes.
is something that isn't Jedi.
Explore,
Sith,
let's
yeah.
explore the Mandalorians a little more. They're
Exactly,
cool.
because
they have a great culture.
Yeah, because there's there's more than one different way of Mandalore, which is the most interesting way. And there's like 7 different total, I think, factions.
There was originally like 14.
Yeah.
And then they died off or just like grew into other factions or combined.
So exactly. I'm a little disappointed his droid isn't a BD unit, because I just feel like the pairing would have been great. But he has Grogu back, so it kind of does make sense.
If he would have had a BD, I think that would only be if he didn't get Grogu back, because he needed
That's true.
He needed
Yeah.
like a little friend that he could talk to.
Yeah.
And everything else.
No. Take that back. It's not that he needed a friend to talk to. It's that Disney needs to sell merch.
No, it's called he needs somebody to talk to.
It's called
It
Disney
gives
needs
him
to
a
sell
character
merchandise.
depth.
but it gives him a character to bounce off of, because it's kind of like Batman in the early comics, where like when Batman would just be by himself and he'd just be brooding on a gargoyle, and he'd just be like,
So what you're saying is, if you're depressed,
vengeance, and then all of a sudden,
If
like
you're
later,
depressed-
and then later on, they were like, "Oh, let's give him Robin so that way he doesn't look crazy."
Now he's like orphans.
yeah, now he's
so
like,
you're
"Oh,
depressed by a cute little stuffed animal.
or orphans,
That's for sure.
as Batman has taught us.
Grogu is an orphan.
Yeah,
True.
Grogu
Yeah,
is an
true.
orphan.
Yeah.
Have you seen his parents? That's wrong.
parents is his horse.
That's wrong. Mando's his
an
dad. Even Bo-Katan mentions it in the trailer. She's like, "Oh, what? You thought your dad was the only Mandalorian?
Yeah.
I'm awesome."
Is that what? That's
That's what she says. She goes,
tells
"You
him
think?
that, yeah.
Did you think your dad was the only Mandalorian?"
Now the question is, why does she have Grogu?
I think they got separated in some way, and like Grogu was following her. Not only that, I think Grogu gets his own helmet by the end of the
Yeah, they showed it. They showed the little small helmet.
because
Yeah.
they showed a little tiny helmet, and I was like, Grogu's gonna get a Mando helmet by the end
Yeah.
of it.
So he's got the
sick.
chainmail, and now he's gonna get a little helmet.
Yeah.
And I'm
This
telling
dude
you-
is getting
Getting decked out.
Yeah, this is like a video game at this point.
Dude,
Yeah.
I can't wait to see him in full like Mandalorian garb. It's gonna be great. 'Cause
By
that-
like season 5, he like wields a tiny little lightsaber.
well, because the interesting thing is that
Yoda's?
yeah. Well, because the cool thing about that is that it's kind of like how Mando was in the very beginning, where he hasn't gotten Beskar armor yet.
yeah,
He's getting armor, but not Beskar armor.
Yeah.
yeah, he's not fully
So,
equipped yet.
yeah.
and then he got the jetpack, and then he's getting upgraded as he goes.
So as Mando is upgrading, so is Grogu. I do want to see that. I do want to see that chainmail save his life, though. I'm hoping that in the middle of like the fight, you see Grogu just like jump in front of Mando.
He's like laying backwards. It's like, no! He turns around, throws the robe off, and it's just the chainmail that's protected.
Completely untouched. He's just laying there.
Yeah. Dude,
Eyes open, just like blinking.
He's just like,
Dude, I love when that little
And then
guy
he calls
gets
him
tortured,
Dad.
man. I don't want that little guy to like be happy.
Monster.
Dude,
Dude,
I
I
wanna-
don't like
Monster.
him. He's a weird freak.
I just want him to call him Dad once.
Yeah. He's gonna say his first words this season.
Yeah.
Probably.
I'm
Am I gonna
telling
cry?
you.
Maybe, but I'm gonna hate him so much, dude.
Oh
I'm
my
gonna grab one of Andy's Grogu's and just start punching it and being like,
He's so great.
Yeah.
idiot.
It's gonna be interesting to see, because also like the if Grogu is in fact separated from Mando and Bo-Katan are beefing, I would assume Bo-Katan would have that respect where she's not gonna do anything to Grogu.
You never know.
That's why I'm saying I think they get separated. Because I feel like Bo-Katan understands that Mando does not want this.
Yeah.
This is not something that Mando wants. He is only
Yeah.
here to go to the wells under Mandalore. That is all I
Yeah.
want. He literally
Guys, I
is.
didn't want all this power. I don't want to be king.
Yeah, like
Jesus.
this is not what I want. I literally just want to go down there. I want to go back. I want to be a bounty hunter, and I want to just hang out with my kid. That's all I want. I don't
Yeah.
care about the Mando war.
The only thing I
don't
think
even
it'd
know
be-
you guys.
I think it'd be interesting for Bo-Katan to kind of resort to how she was in Clone Wars, because in Clone Wars it's
Oh, she's
her way
ruthless. She's
or no way.
ruthless.
Yeah. And in Rebel, she's kind of softer, kind of accepting of what her sister kind of believed in.
Well, yeah, she tries to accept more of what Satine was going for, because her being ruthless is what got Satine killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yeah, essentially. So it'd be interesting to kind of see her grow a pettiness that Mando has a following when he doesn't want it.
Could be.
Oh, I
Could
see
be.
where you're
Because
going.
it could
You
be
know.
also, because the thing is that also Mandalorians show strength by ability and by physical strength.
Yeah.
So them going like, well, I'm going to challenge Mando for the blade. I can see people coming up to him and fighting him for it. Like,
Yeah.
just like coming up to him and then he just like wrecking them.
Yeah.
Or even like if he is about to get wrecked, Grogu just going, no. And then just like throwing it. Yeah, and then just like, oh yeah. Because technically he is a perfect combination of Jedi and Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they could always go like, oh, that's the prophecy. Because
Mando in gold Beskar gear would look sick.
All right, nerds, we
Dude,
got to move
if you-
on.
Red,
I know.
red cape.
Nerds,
Red
we
cape.
got to move
We're
on.
3
Red
minutes
cape.
over.
Yeah,
now.
I know. You guys failed. Adam, this is on you.
I
This is your
said
fault.
that.
in all,
no
hold on.
promises.
In all fairness, he
Let's keep
skipped
going.
his, so that's just
Yeah.
the time he would have had.
That sucks. Moving on. Should we talk about? Because here's the thing: Comic-Con's next week, right? Or
Yeah.
technically going on as soon as this episode releases.
Yes.
There's some leaks that have been coming out, and one in specific that I ran into. I feel like people are getting smarter with their leaks. Is a potential Black Panther 2 leak that I found on Facebook.
Really quick, before we get into any Comic-Con, I'm going to do a little promotion because Miguel's going to be there Wednesday.
He lives
Oh.
there.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let me say this: if you're promoting it,
It's
that
gonna
means
happen.
it needs
no,
to happen.
it's going to happen. There's no choice now.
Okay.
There's no choice now.
No turning back.
Yeah,
Hang on,
there's
hang on,
no
hang on.
there's no choice now.
He's
this comes
saying
out. This comes out Wednesday.
yeah,
Miguel's going to be there today.
Okay.
Yeah.
on Wednesday.
And I will potentially be there Friday.
Okay.
Oh,
Can't say
so-
potential.
Yeah, you got to be
go.
either there or
it's
you're not.
possible.
Yeah.
No, either there or
there's
you're
no.
not.
There is no. I was there.
Yeah.
I wasn't there.
Yeah. Well,
All right.
All right,
so
Miguel,
what about
Miguel
it?
will definitely be there. So
Okay. So what
there
about
will be a vlog going up on the YouTube channel.
Oh,
Okay.
So go find our man in the sky. or
or Man on the Ground.
or Man on the Ground.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Nick's finally
So many
gonna
nerds.
see the face.
Dude, I'm gonna
Big
tell you
Al.
right now. I'm expecting an iPad on like a wheel, like just
Oh,
like,
that'd be great. Like Karen from SpongeBob.
like that's what I'm expecting. I'm totally expecting like an iPad on top of like a little robot and just going, "Hey guys."
Yeah.
So, talking about
That's what I expect.
Comic-Con, there was a Black Panther 2 leak that I
Yeah.
did find, which we talked about it, and it kind of seems like it's not a full believable leak, but there is some key details in this that we kind of do believe could exist in the Black Panther 2 movie, right?
Yeah.
So in this leak, if you guys don't want to know, skip about 10 minutes forward. We're going to be discussing this just a little bit, some leaks here and there, but nothing too major. Going now. The leak is that Black Panther 2 is going to have Shuri take the mantle as Black Panther after she goes through the ritual. This is after Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther, passes away, before or during a fight between the Atlanteans and the Wakandians.
I think
it's before.
Before
The Atlanteans, I think they're still in mourning, and then they're attacked by the Atlanteans,
So this is in that process, and
which makes sense. Their king just died. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weak.
Shuri sees that Wakanda needs a Black Panther. She goes through the ritual, and she believes that she will be seeing Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther there,
But she sees Killmonger
but
instead.
she sees Killmonger, and she goes through that process of becoming Black Panther. The movie's going to revolve around the war between Wakanda and Atlantis. That's going to be the main thing. And then the potential end credit teaser is going to tease Doctor Doom. So, out of this entire little leak that did show up, do we believe that this is potentially the plot of Black Panther 2?
I hope it's better.
Okay.
There's
It
one.
seems very likely though that this is it.
Here's my thing though. So the way that I would want the movie is that there is no Black Panther in this.
Be
The
interesting.
entire movie. I don't want Black Panther to be in the entire movie. I want Shuri to pick up the mantle at the very end. Because what I wanted Shuri to be in mourning, and for her to go, "No, I'm not going to be the Black Panther."
Yeah.
The
and
denial.
that was, and the whole denial, the whole like, I'm still mourning my brother. My brother is the Black Panther, and that was the whole reason why it was called Black Panther, which Wakanda Forever,
Yeah.
because you had to have this thing of like, we do need a Black Panther. Like what was it? Like, we need this because also if you forget, all of those herbs or all those fruits, they were destroyed.
Yeah.
Killmonger destroyed all of them. So it would be that thing of like Shuri having to rebuild it. And I think it says in the thing, Shuri figures out a way to make more.
Yeah.
To bring back.
Yeah, she makes an artificial
She
one.
makes an artificial one and to give her the powers of the Black Panther. And I think that would be interesting if like that was kind of her thing of like, she's like, I don't want it. I don't want to be the Black Panther. I don't want to do any, I just want to mourn my brother's death, and that's it, and move on.
So one of the things that we talked about in the earlier issues was that in order to make the sequel happen, they have to respect Chadwick Boseman's legacy, right? Because
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have cemented him as the definite Black Panther. And so the question has always been like, who takes up that mantle next? Is it going to be
he's
Shuri?
definitely an icon of the community as well.
Exactly. So do we give it to Shuri? Do we give it to Killmonger? Like, what exactly is that storyline? And I 100% agree with Nick in this sense. It's like you have to respect that legacy that has existed before, and you don't just dump a new body with that name. You have to have them build up to that. By having Shuri create an artificial fruit that, has that potential to give that, the ritual its meaning again, there has to be some sort of like consequence behind it. Like if there's only like one fruit left example, right? For example,
I got a
that
question,
could potentially let that happen.
The Boseman family came out and said we're cool if Disney recast it.
That doesn't mean anything though.
I understand that, but do you think Disney has maybe, because obviously we're not going to see Chadwick Boseman.
No.
They can write it off as, hey, he is dead, but he's not, and he's recasted when he comes back. Because if we're not seeing a body, which we're not gonna,
No.
it feels like it's almost like a placeholder.
Yes and no, because keep in mind that Disney has been one of the bigger production companies to use that CGI face.
That's true.
technology.
But it's also not the first time we've recasted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing, yeah.
Because they did it. They've done it with the Hulk. They've done it with
Anthony
with
McKay as well, War Machine.
War Machine
War
as
Machine,
well.
yeah.
But that's what I'm saying though.
or not Anthony McKay.
Don Cheadle?
Don Cheadle.
It was what's his name?
But here's my thing though. For all of that, the reason why I'm hoping that, because I've noticed that their movies have, like, the titles have a lot more definition than, like, we're giving them
Depends on the
credit for.
director. Because
Yes.
we saw that with Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yes,
That was a direct connection towards the end.
exactly.
So Wakanda Forever could have that connection in terms of the story.
And honestly, I think that, especially the way that it was going to be written, I feel like it's going to have a lot more heart to it. I feel that there is going to be this thing where somebody, because also the idea that who was pregnant with Chadwick Boseman's son,
Nakia.
Nakia was going to be pregnant. That was at the very bottom. Was like it was going to be revealed that she was pregnant with T'Challa's son or child, son or daughter, whatever they wanted to do.
Yeah.
But that would have been kind of interesting. I just do want more of a. We don't actually have a Black Panther in this
Which is fine, and that actually does work with that idea of respect, because you don't want to just recast and make
Yeah.
it happen, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to just dump another
Immediately.
body. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because it can be later revealed in a number of TV shows and movies, or the next Avengers film, that hey, T'Challa's not dead. He's been in a prison for these last X amount of years.
Or I mean, because right now we're still not done with the multiverse,
It's true.
and this is a weird time to be putting this down.
We're going to discuss that about when we talk about Miss Marvel later
Yeah,
on,
but-
because Miss Marvel does
This is a
bring
weird,
in something
Yeah.
about multiverse and dimensions.
This is a weird time to be bringing in like multiverses and alternate dimensions and stuff like that. And eventually, all of these, because Doctor Strange 3 is obviously going to be two dimensions that are slamming together.
Yes.
So
Incursion?
an incursion in which people have been saying that's actually Andrew Garfield's world. Because
Makes sense.
apparently he was he's in talks for another movie through the MCU, and nobody knows what movie it is. So it might be a Spider-Man Doctor Strange movie combined again. But besides that, I think that we need that. We can always do, oh yeah, this is a Black Panther from a different universe, or that's how we got the swap, or anything else. As of right now, it's a leak on Facebook. Take it with a grain of salt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Take it with a grain of salt. It's probably it might be true. It's most likely not.
I will say that in terms of like multiverse and dimensions and stuff like that, if you guys have noticed, a lot of the main cast that existed in phases 1 through 3 don't really deal with that. The only one that has been Doctor Strange, because Thor: Love and Thunder is that movie that was very in its own bubble. It was a Thor specific movie. So was Black Widow. Which one else was it? Doctor Strange was basically in its own bubble as well. The only connection it really had outside of that bubble was WandaVision.
Well, that's kind of the problem with Phase 4 right now. Because when you were talking about like people are getting upset about Phase 4, I started thinking about it and I was like, okay. I mean, it makes sense because when you were first watching Phases 1 through 3, it was very linear. It was super easy to figure out. It was cool. We had a Iron Man movie, then we had a Thor movie, then we had Captain America, and they all took place more or less one after another.
Yeah.
In order to understand this one, you need to watch this
Yeah,
one.
then the other one would mention that, what was it? Coulson would go, oh yeah, I have to go to New Mexico to go deal with an issue and everything like that. And then in Thor, he's in New Mexico and you're dealing with that issue. So it felt like it was spreading very neatly and very, cohesively. The problem with 4 is that there's been so many movies that are out of sequence where you're just like, this takes place before the events of Infinity War. This one takes place this time. Spider-Man takes place 2 years ahead of what's going on. Now Thor takes place 5 years or a month after. So it's really hard to keep this linear when you have to keep on jumbling these pieces.
So you said that because you were saying that people are upset about Phase 4.
Yeah.
And you were saying that it's a small portion of it.
I still think it's a small portion.
And I agreed with both of you guys because what I was saying was people are disappointed and it is a small portion, but that small portion are the biggest talkers when it comes to it.
Just because they're loud doesn't mean
They're kind of in the right though, because you have to consider again, they just came out with that piece of information where phases 1 through 3 had an average of about 25 hours of watch time. And this is over 100 hours with all the TV shows and movies that have come out.
Yeah.
I personally don't think there's anything wrong with that, because at the end of the day, what this kind of creates are different venues for different writers and directors to take advantage of if they want to work on a separate project, right? So we'll talk about Miss Marvel in a bit, but you got to consider things like Moon Knight, right? Moon Knight or WandaVision or Loki. These stories don't necessarily have to connect directly to one another, but they do have some sort of connection that if they wanted to meet somewhere, they could. Or if a future writer or director wants to work on a property that revolves around that, it can go in a different direction. So you're giving these creators liberty to use these properties how they want in a world that we're all enjoying. But the only issue I feel with Phase 4 is that because it's already over 100 hours, you don't have a definite goal. So what are you looking forward to?
That's kind of the main point, though, is that we've mentioned Kang. The thing about phases 1 through 3 is that every so often they would throw a Thanos at you. They would throw a Thanos scene, or they would be like, okay, cool, this is where the Infinity Stone is. This is where this Infinity Stone is. Or, oh, we're gonna put the Infinity Stone and we're gonna give it to the Collector after Dark World. And in your head, you're kind of going like, oh, okay, cool. So now we know where all the Infinity Stones are. Or, oh, we need to figure out which Infinity Stones are left. Okay, we have the Reality Stone. We still have this stone left. Okay, until those get revealed, Thanos can't really do his plan. And so it's one of those things of like, you were kind of marking it down, and it was really easy to condense and kind of go like, okay, I know what the overarching story is going to be. It's to get the Infinity Stones. This one is more Kang. Like, Kang has been already teased as our next big bad for a phase.
We haven't seen him, though.
We've seen him once.
Once as a good entity.
Yeah.
And he hasn't really explained himself as the other one. Not only that, because that was the thing, though, was that I don't really know when this phase ends.
No one does.
Because technically, you would always know when the phase ended because an Avengers movie would come out.
Yeah.
It would always be like, okay, cool, we have, this movie, this movie, this movie, this movie. And then there's a giant movie at the very end where it brings all these characters together, and whatever happened throughout this now comes to a head inside of this Avengers movie.
Yeah.
We don't have that in this so far.
I
have no idea what Moon Knight's doing.
There was an interview with Kevin Feige that said that there is an eventual end to this phase. They're still working on it, right? Because a lot of people thought that Phase 4 ended with No Way Home, that was going to be a definite, like, hard stop to essentially say that the next phase is happening after that. But Marvel Studios hasn't confirmed that. No. That's basically just a fan theory.
I think another thing too is that we're only 2 years into Phase 2, as the other ones were like 3 to 4 years.
Well, yeah, I think it's because of that whole production aspect.
Yeah.
Though. Like, this is different though, because Phase 4, they already know how to run. They're running with it. They have 100 hours of content. Nothing wrong with that. But you have to, and it's kind of like a double-sided blade. Yeah. Right? Because on one hand, it's a fully grown studio now that knows what the audience wants and will work towards getting to that goal. True. But the other side of that is that the fans are not wanting 100 hours of content without a proper conclusion and without a goal in mind. Where are we headed into this phase? What is the threat?
Well, the other thing is that a lot of these after credit scenes have been Thor will return, Doctor Strange will return. Like, there's like, you've been putting post credit scenes, but a lot of them have been more comedic and less of like, this is what's happening. Not only that, but also, like you were saying, there's no through line. There's no, and then we're going to fight Kang. It's more of like, at the very end of Doctor Strange, Clea comes and she goes, we're going to go stop an incursion. Spider-Man comes, you have Spider-Man's thing, and it's like, oh yeah, Peter Parker's all by himself now. What was it? Black Widow. You have the new Black Widow that came up, but that felt like it was going into Hawkeye.
Yeah. Because you mentioned earlier, Rene, when we were talking about Thor: Love and Thunder, how you were excited for the Hercules reveal at the end credit scene, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but the big thing from what I took of that conversation that you were saying was that you're excited for Hercules versus Thor.
Yes.
Yeah.
But do you see any connection to that besides Hercules potentially being an asset to the next Avengers?
Yeah.
Fighting the big...
he does become an Avenger at one point. He's not a villain. He's just basically, he's just a character thrown in doing what he's told, from his dad.
Isn't he basically just rivals with Thor? Like not in like a not even like in
It's
a
like
mean
a
way.
fun rivalry. Like
Yeah,
they're
like they're
both
friends.
gods.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
they're both
friends.
gods, and they're
Yeah.
both strong and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
that's how they have fun with each other. And
Don't
stuff
get me
like
wrong.
that.
I would love for Hercules to be Love's uncle. Like that. That just sounds hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Of just like it's Thor, Hercules, Love.
Mm-hmm.
It's two dudes and a girl, and it's
Okay, so
Two gods and a girl.
Two
Can we
god-
rephrase that? Because Love is technically like going to be a teenager. by
okay,
that time.
fine. Two gods and an immortal being,
Yeah.
because love is technically infinity,
Eternity.
or eternity.
Yeah.
So I mean, I just think that's a sitcom on its own. And two dudes and an eternity.
Love, thunder, and muscle.
Love, thunder, and muscles.
I love it.
Yes, Kevin Feige, make it. All right,
I expect a check if that actually becomes a thing.
Oh, yeah,
dude. If
especially-
I see Love, thunder,
I
and
want
muscles,
ticket revenues.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
because it's literally just this, but with a peck on it.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
That's actually
perfect.
pretty good.
Yeah,
That's
the heart
perfect.
is made out of a peck right here. Just that would be.
There you go.
So to transition to the next topic, right? One of the most recent series to just wrap up was Miss Marvel, right?
Yes.
Consensus of this show.
was
You are 4 episodes in. You're only but you've seen the.
I've
you've
seen the big
stuff.
reveals.
You've seen the big
Okay.
reveals. Okay,
It
so
wasn't
we're
a
It's
lot.
hard. Yeah, it's hard to stay away from spoilers on the internet now.
somewhat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're all
that
over
and
the
like
place,
YouTube videos, they'll just constantly do like a breakdown as soon as the episode.
It's not-
thumbnail,
Yeah.
big circle, arrow,
Yeah.
reveal. It's like, dude, what? Really?
Huh?
Yeah.
Who does that a lot? It's what channel does
Screen
that a lot?
Rant.
Screen Rant,
Screen
and then
does it
it's
a lot.
also like Emergency Awesome will do that as well too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They always do that.
The ones I mean that's kind of like why I like New Rockstars, because it would just be a photo of them and it would just say like breakdown, and then it'll have like one little tiny thing and it'll have like the tattoos on Thor's back, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I wanted to know what those were.
Yeah, that was it. Nothing too big revealing.
Yeah, nothing super
Anyway.
revealing.
Did we like the show?
Yeah,
Overall, yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
it was fun.
It was really
How do you
good.
like the show so far?
So far, I've enjoyed it. The pacing, the slowness of it has been really, really nice.
So what's very interesting is
Wait,
To the end?
because that pacing just speeds up like it's.
You
like
can
it's-
kind of like after the wedding, things are seriously starting to kind of like
It's
pick
that-
up.
It's
Yeah,
right there. When
No,
after the wedding, that's when it.
because you go from it's mildly speeding up to the
Second to
which
last
to
episode?
The second to last episode.
Yeah.
a
where you
full
just
on freight train from hell just coming.
no, it's the Millennium Falcon at a certain point. It's just going hyperspace,
Yeah.
man. It's because that was the only thing I didn't like from the show, is that at a certain point, and I've mentioned this before, where you feel like you just kind of go like, cool, we need to get rid of this plot line. We don't have enough episodes to deal with this plot line correctly, so we're just gonna go, okay, cool, and they're gone.
Yeah, basically.
which I'm
and
not.
that's kind of
You see that as a problem. I see that as a blessing, because that
Really?
storyline was not as interesting as understanding Kamala's.
with the clandestine.
But the thing is that you can make it more interesting because that's where her powers come from.
True, but oh no, because that's going to be in discussion in a bit. Okay, because they the whole reveal that Bruno gives to Kamala at the end.
Yeah.
So there's more to it. Anyway, you know about that, right?
Yeah,
okay.
He's
so
the
freaked
mutation.
out.
Yeah,
I will say the big aspect I like about the show is this. Remember reading comic books as a kid and feeling shut up.
no, automatically shut you down.
I don't
Anyways,
remember
move
my
on.
childhood.
So anyway,
I never had a good one. Remember reading comic books as a kid and just feeling an overwhelming amount of joy of like finally relating to the character that you're reading about, or like finding some sort of similarity, or kind of like finding a comparison or something like that.
Are you a mutant too, Bryan?
No.
Spider-Man poops. I poop too. I poop too.
What I love about it is that Iman has taken Kamala and made her so relatable to a newer generation of like superhero readers and viewers.
Yeah.
She is that teenager that is trying to figure herself out with these powers. The brilliance about it doesn't follow the same trope that other superheroes follow, which is the loss of parents, or the parents not accepting who they are, or having to hide an identity. It's brand new and it makes you feel good about it.
Yeah.
Like I look at the last scene where she's sitting on the light, the street light. It's a straight up, like for me at least, like a Peter Parker scenario where you're reading the last panel of a comic book and being like, wow, that was such a great story.
Yeah, no,
That's-
it's also I like how they recreated that cover art though for Miss Marvel. Of her sitting on the lamplight. It looks great.
It's so good.
Her costume looks amazing.
Cool.
I do kind of wish they wouldn't have shown us her costume so many times before revealing it in the show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it kind of took the sentiment away.
It took the sentiment, and also because everybody was like, "Oh, and here you go, Kamala," and I was like, "Okay, cool. That's the suit." All right.
Oh, finally.
Yeah.
Yeah, like finally she got the suit. All right, cool. But it wasn't like that moment of, oh, we finally get to see the suit, because you got to see it in the beginning of Thor: Love and Thunder. You got to see there was a bunch of stuff that they released from their new Disney cruises.
Yeah.
That had her already in it, and
Which
I was like,
And
well, really? They
Not only that,
yeah.
you also have the character popping up at Avengers Campus, and everybody's recording it.
yeah.
so
she
it's
already-
just like
I don't
it-
know why she had already started popping
Yeah.
up. At her,
Yeah.
They should have had 2 costumes for her.
Exactly.
They should have
Yeah.
had the costume that they were having, and then she should have
Should have had her in
evolved
the
into
fangirl.
The fan, I think that would have been dope.
Captain
Having
Marvel suit.
yeah.
the
Yeah.
fan costume like that would have been really cool to like walk around and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take a picture with Kamala.
It's weird because they did that for Moon Knight. You know, whenever an episode aired that showed like Mr. Midnight, which I think it was episode 3, that at Disney camp at Avengers Campus they had Mr.
Yeah.
Mr. Knight. Yeah,
Mr.
Knight.
was walking
Yeah,
around.
he was walking around when his suit got premiered. So they didn't do that with Miss Marvel, which is weird.
Yeah, they just kind of went like, and it looks too cool, so we're just gonna release it. And it was like, okay, but like I didn't get to watch, I didn't get to see it.
But then does it go to it doesn't have enough traction, so we need to kind of put
I don't
that
think
out?
it's a traction aspect of it. I think that it was a marketing aspect for it, because you have to consider this. The show was marketed towards a younger audience.
Yeah.
Not for
But
us.
not
Yeah,
only that,
but
but
it's
also in Thor: Love and Thunder, you see her in Biggin in the Marvel logo.
Yeah.
She in Biggins.
Yeah.
Because you see her do this, and then she grows in the Marvel logo, and I was like, "Wait, did we just watch her in Biggin? Like,
Yeah.
why?"
Though, and then they do make it not like a staple, but you do have to watch Miss Marvel in order to watch Marvels, because at the end of the end credit scene you get to see Carol Danvers.
The big
Yeah.
mid-end credit scene.
It's an end credit scene.
What
Yeah.
does she randomly just show up?
So what they
So,
do is
yeah.
that the bracelet, the what's it called again?
It's a beacon.
Gauntlet.
It's some sort of. It starts like going weird, and
Starts
basically
glowing
they
different
swap
colors.
places. So wherever Miss Captain Marvel was at, she shows up where Camila's at in her room,
Yeah.
and then Kamala goes to where she was at, where Captain Marvel
So
was
the thing
at.
is that what people are theorizing is that the reason why nobody's seen Carol Danvers in a hot minute is because she was trapped in the Dark Dimension.
Okay.
Because technically, that's what those gauntlets are supposed to connect to.
Mm-hmm.
It's how the comics. Because what they're thinking is that they're the negative bands, the nega bands that are originally given to Captain Marvel are Marvel,
Marvel, yeah.
and those are connected to the negative zone, to the negative dimension. That's where Danvers had been. She
So-
was then released by Kamala.
Kamala.
But Kamala swapped places with her and is now in the dark dimension. And
so
she's like,
Kamala's
"Damn."
gone.
Kamala's
For
no
now.
Longer, for now.
And then it says like, oh yeah, you'll see Miss Marvel in the Marvels.
Yeah, it says
Which comes out next year.
Yeah.
Yes. Which is fine. It's,
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal, because honestly, like, Iman is such a gem.
Yeah.
And I want her to succeed in this role as much as possible. She could potentially play Miss Marvel for the next 10 years.
I see her as a fan favorite for a while.
Oh, yeah.
She's
and
gonna
not
be a
only
fan
that,
favorite.
but also I can't. I know that she's not gonna be Miss Marvel for as long as Downey was. I don't think anybody's gonna play that characters as long as
She
Downey
could.
did. She could. She's
could.
young
It
enough. She's young.
depends.
She's young enough where it would.
I think
she
Tom
would-
Holland's gonna break that.
You think Tom Holland will? You
He's
think Tom Holland
6
would?
years in already.
Tom Holland's difficult because Tom Holland has contracts with Sony and Marvel, and it depends
True.
if Sony pulls
Yeah.
that.
Not
under
only that,
his,
but also I
under his
mean,
feet.
because what Robert Downey Jr. was doing for almost 20 years?
Yeah.
It was
22 years
Since 2008, yeah.
So almost 20 years.
It was 11 years.
Was it 11 years?
Yeah.
No.
2008 to
2020.
to 2019.
It was 2019. I don't know why I was thinking 2020. Yeah, it is 2019. So it
It's
was
11 years.
Yeah. So Tom Holland's already hit halfway mark.
Yeah,
Chris
but Tom Holland
Hemsworth has been Thor for 11 years already.
No, he was Thor
in 2011.
Oh yeah, he is. Some of them are. They're getting up there.
Yeah.
He's been Thor for 11 years. Wow.
Yeah.
Thor for another 10.
He said that he wants to keep playing it.
Yeah.
So
I'm
don't see it.
assuming the diet and everything like that doesn't bother him as much as it bothered everybody else.
No.
Like Hugh Jackman and everything.
He was jacked before. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's always been
athletic. He's always been pretty athletic.
Well, the Hemsworth genes, yeah, there are.
Yeah, the Hemsworth boys. Those Hemsworth boys are looking good, you know.
So the end of Miss Marvel, basically, we get a wrap up of the what are they called, the dimension that they're in, or the
neon dimension.
no, what is it? What are the clandestines?
Oh, the clandestines.
The clandestites, right? So that gets knocked out like 2 episodes before the series ends, and we have to deal with this whole thing with damage control,
Which
for
is interesting.
for being called damage control, they really did cause a lot of damage.
Dude, they caused way more damage than anything else.
Yeah.
I do like that they have that one guy from No Way Home. He's like the one calling all the shots.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I didn't like him in No Way Home. He was a little annoying, but I like him in Miss Marvel because he's like still acting the same way, but it's more like, okay, cool.
They fired her.
They
fired her,
continuity.
which is interesting because I've told Andy this. I'm like, every show I feel like the person that messes up, it's like, get back to the office. We're gonna have a talking to.
Yeah.
Here it's like, pack your stuff. You're resigning. You're done. You're out of here. Good, which is awesome. But it was a good last episode. It was very fast paced. Kamran was an annoying character in my opinion because I felt like he knew what he wanted to do, but constantly made the wrong decisions for being such a suave boy in the entire series.
I think he was just freaking out because he finally had powers and he couldn't control them.
I mean, true.
I mean, if you everything you know is all about this one thing, and also he thought that what his mom was going to do was for the right thing.
Exactly. Like there was that strong belief.
And he didn't know that what they were trying to do was going to destroy the world and everything else. So
I got one more question.
I can totally see that.
Okay.
Bruno. So is Bruno in fact?
Caltech.
He's what?
He's going to Caltech.
Okay. Oh, he's not immune in any way.
No. Bruno's
I
the
thought
one
that was the-
No, Bruno
No.
finds out.
Oh.
He looks into Kamala's
So-
DNA.
He goes,
Okay.
he goes, I looked
Okay.
into, so the way that the scene goes, he goes, hey, Kamala, I wanted to tell you one more thing. I was looking at your DNA, and I noticed that there was an irregularity between you and your parents.
There was a little more to that because the belief was that the bracelet
the bangle
activated something within her that was a part of that descendants of that family lineage,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so it activated something in her body, but
Kind
she
of the
realized-
way the Mind Stone activated Wanda's.
Well,
Yes.
the thing-
Yeah.
Not necessarily because they showed it in WandaVision that she already had a connection to that.
So like a
Yeah.
catalyst. The bracelet was a catalyst.
Yeah.
But Bruno said to her that the bracelet basically activated
The X gene.
a mutation.
Yeah.
He
Within
goes,
her.
there's a mutation in
Well,
your
that's kind of
genes.
what happened in WandaVision too, though. She
No.
had the power.
Yeah, she already had
but
the
it,
power, and then
Oh,
the
it
Mind Stone-
escalated it.
and then the Mind
Yeah.
Stone just unlocked it.
It amplified
the
it.
okay, yeah.
It
So-
amplified
That's right,
it,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
right,
yeah.
I just think the one thing I think is interesting though is that they did the '97 X-Men, and I think that's just what they're gonna do.
That's the theme song.
I think that's just what they're gonna do for the X-Men. I feel like that's what's gonna be their live action X-Men music. Because it's so iconic.
Yeah.
It's so iconic, but also I think that everybody for the most part who's watching knows what it is. Where because as soon as you hear it, it's just it's a little riff of do 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 do.
That's it. Yeah.
And
that's all
you're
you need.
like, X-Men.
Is that what they did they played the theme?
They played
they
the
played
theme
it.
for Multiverse of Madness,
Yeah.
and then and then they
Multiverse.
did
Yeah.
it.
So it's
No,
a
no, no,
recurring.
and also
Yeah.
and
Miss
in
Marvel.
Kamala. In Miss Marvel, they
You
did
hear
it
it
too.
like vaguely. As soon as he says mutation, and she's like learning what it is, and she goes do, and that's it.
yeah.
I gotta watch that again.
Yeah, he goes, it's a mutation in your, it's a mutation, and you hear do 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 do, and then right after she goes, it's just gonna be another label.
That's what I don't like. That's the one line that I was like kind of because I got out of the bed. I was like, I sprung up. I was like, mutation? What? Because
Yeah.
that's a sensitive word for us. You don't say mutation and
Well,
not
it's
do
the
anything with
it's the
it.
first confirmed mutant inside of the MCU.
We don't know because it could just be a label, guys. Like that's the annoying part about it.
But that's
Like,
how it is, though.
But
That's
no,
how it
Kevin-
is in
but-
X-Men.
but
It's a
Kevin Feige-
label.
No, but Kevin Feige said that's what they did.
Yeah.
That he goes, at this point, we're trying to fix that because Kamala should have been a mutant. The only reason why she's an Inhuman is because they sold the rights to the X-Men, and then for a long time they stopped making X-Men comics. Then they started bringing up the Inhumans because they were like, screw it, we want to do X-Men stories, but we don't have rights to the X-Men. Why would we write comics for another studio?
Yeah.
That's going to amplify them. So then they go. So then they then branch out with the Inhumans. The Inhumans are a huge success.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else, and then they go, okay, cool. Since we're not using mutants right now, she's gonna be an Inhuman, and then that's how she gets her powers. She becomes an Inhuman. So Kevin Feige even said, he goes, we're just righting wrong. Like
that was the original plan.
She was
the original plan was
for
for her
her
to
to
be
be an
an
X-Men.
Which essentially makes sense. I mean,
For
it's
her
not
to
the
turn to an
biggest of deals.
No,
She has powers.
they're just doing
Yeah.
the original idea. That's
It
it.
Yeah, that
is
was
a
the original
big
idea.
deal because the X-Men fan base is a very loyal fan base.
You mean
It-
very neurotic?
Yes.
Yeah. They're very sensitive too.
They are.
So what? It is what it is.
Okay,
What are they
you're-
going to stop
no.
supporting
You know
it?
what's-
No.
You know what's
No,
really-
they're not. What I'm just
So
saying is
then,
I
so then,
always-
what's the issue? If they're not
I-
going to stop supporting it, just fix it.
I always find it so funny for people to really love a comic book that's all about like acceptance and who I am, and then they're always like, "Oh, this new thing happens," Rah! And they're
Yeah.
like, "I hate you."
Yeah.
It's like, dude, the whole comic that you love
Yeah.
is all about you accepting people for who they
Yeah.
are, and then you're like, "Oh, I hate that thing because of who it is."
It's so weird because
it's like obviously you don't read these comics, dude.
when it comes to comics, you have your Marvel fans, your DC fans, and then you have your X-Men fans. See, the thing is that because I said that, it's because X-Men's a whole new different world on its own within
Yeah.
the Marvel universe, and it's crazy though, because like when people ask me like, hey, so what comics like are you reading this X-Men time? I'm like, no, I'm not reading X-Men. They go, why? It's too much to go into. There's so much lore. There's so much. It's a whole separate universe within already a universe. And I'm like, I'm not getting
But
into
that's
X-Men.
that's how it is. If the
Yeah.
fans are complaining it's too much, X-Men has always been like that.
Mhm.
What was
No,
it? The House of
yeah.
not the House of M. It was the
the
red logo and the
reboot?
blue logo.
Oh yeah, the House of X and Powers of X.
That's it. Yeah,
and,
that was
and that's another thing
weird
in which
thing.
I feel like that was like another thing when I was a kid where I got more into DC comics because I felt like they were more interconnected than Marvel was. Because if you read an X-Men comic, they're in completely their own entirely different
Yeah.
like bubble.
Yeah.
Because whatever's happening over here, the Avengers never mention it. They never like, oh yeah, because of the X-Men, this is what happens or anything else. It's like, dude,
See,
they're totally separate unless for specific reasons. Yes, the X-Men need to contact the Avengers.
that's why
and they never do.
people enjoy Wolverine so much is that he jumps around.
Yes.
He'll be part of the Avengers, or he'll have like a thing with the Hulk, or then he'll have something with Deadpool, and everyone just loves Deadpool in general and stuff. So.
The interconnectedness.
Yes. So he makes a guest appearance in the X-Men. He does a solo trip for a couple years, and he joins the Avengers
Yeah.
for like a couple issues.
Yeah.
Then he goes back on a solo trip. Then he joins the X-Men for a special guest appearance, and he dies.
Yeah.
Comes back, does the whole cycle again. Point being, Adam, when we do fight comic book nerds, you're the front man because you're going to annoy them. You're going to just aggravate them, and then we'll take care of it. Whatever you didn't kill off. Because I feel like
What?
you don't understand comic book people, dude. It's
fine.
weird.
No, comic book people. I always thought. I think it's the same thing with like Star Wars people too. I'm not gonna lie. Like no, because like
Go ahead,
because there are a lot of people that like. I always think it's so funny when they're just like, oh, I hate like, oh yeah, like. There's got to be more violence in Star Wars. I got to do more of this. And it's like, this is a movie about like a bunch of like peacekeeping monks, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
that's
They
what
didn't
the
kill
series is
people with
about.
lightsabers. There's no
Yeah,
chopping
like,
of heads and
know,
stuff.
like the entire like thing of it is like they're supposed to use their words.
Yeah.
Like that's what the Jedi Order was for. They were like
Basically.
a lightsaber was last resort.
Yeah.
These men were supposed to use their words, and you're like, oh, nah, lightsaber killed more things. It's like
Because
dude,
that's what we're used to seeing
Yeah.
in the movies.
Space Wizards.
yeah,
Yeah.
space. But I just think it's so funny when people don't take what the art is telling you to do in life, and they just don't like. They don't figure out that I'm doing exactly what the art told me not to do.
Basically. So
I'm the bad guys in the comic.
But you are right. I do not understand comic book readers.
don't understand.
I don't need to because
Yeah, you're
there's
good.
so much in comic books that you can't transcribe to a film.
Yes. But that can go with any kind of reading media as well.
That's true.
It
Like,
depends
you
on the
can.
story.
there's a lot of books that just impossible to.
What I'm
translate.
saying is that comic book readers could be sensitive depending on who you talk to. Like Marvel and DC are always going to have their fan bases go to war with each other because they always think that one is better than the other. X-Men readers are always going to be super sensitive and they don't know what they want all the time. They're always saying that this is good, this is bad. They're always going to argue with you.
Yeah.
It's just like, what's the worst one that I'll never get back into? Magic the Gathering. The card-based game? Never. I've done
Because
Aren't
that.
you doing a
fandom?
tournament?
Huh?
Aren't you doing a
I
tournament?
thought you were doing a tournament with with Sean.
Oh, I don't know if that's going through anymore. We'll see. He hasn't texted me, so I'm like, all right, that's fine. That's
Hasn't
cool.
his message?
Yeah, he hasn't messaged me, so I don't know. I'm still,
Interesting.
look, I'm playing it online. Okay, I don't have to deal with people.
When
so.
Sean hugged you,
That's probably the best way is to play
I
online.
don't have to
See-
smell anything. I'm good.
what happened?
I used to run Magic tournaments, so I know how you feel.
What,
Yeah.
what happened is that Sean
No, at
hugged
the
you.
other store, yeah.
Yeah, when Sean hugged you, he went.
Yes, he's not cheesy enough.
You
Yeah.
can't play.
He's
You
not
can't
he's
play.
not. This guy ain't stinky enough.
This guy, he
He
doesn't
showers.
No, he's like, not ripe yet.
He's not ready. I'm gonna let this one bask in its filth in a while.
We have about 20 minutes before we call it a
All right.
wrap on this issue. So we've got one more topic for you guys, and it's a small one. Resident Evil just came out last week on Friday or Thursday?
Thursday, yeah.
It is a new iteration of the franchise that in no way, shape, or form is directly connected to the existing story that has existed in the video games or the movies or the books or the animated series.
To be fair, the movies did that too, just in a terrible way, and the show does that too, but in a better way.
To some extent.
Alright, so
hang
hold
on. Hang on. Have you seen the reviews for Resident Evil?
No.
Okay, so it's funny because critics are giving it. Rotten Tomatoes doesn't have a score,
Okay.
but the critics are kind of like sporadically putting their reviews out there. It's a solid 6, 7 out of 10. Right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
fine.
that's fair.
It's a fair.
Yeah.
It's a fair thing.
It's better than the last
See,
Resident Evil movie.
the thing is
How about
that
like 5 movies?
when
Yeah.
it comes to reviews or when people want to review stuff, for some reason, the general thesis is that it has to be a 9 or a 10.
Yeah.
In order for for me to watch
enjoy it.
Yeah, it has to be a 9.
a 7's a solid and respectable.
7 is fun.
That's a passing grade. Yeah. That's a passing grade.
That's a C.
I don't-
That's a
Exactly.
C.
Sounds like Adam
You
got
need
a
a
lot
C
of
to pass,
7s,
bet.
like 70% on stuff.
Adam, why'd you get such a low score? That's a passing grade. I can graduate with a 7.
Exactly.
Is that why you never showed up to tutoring and stuff like that?
Exactly. Hey, because you want to know what? If you apply yourself 70% of the time, that's enough to pass.
Yeah.
That's not what you want to say. What if this is like some interview, like an interviewer is using this as like, a means of seeing what kind of person you are.
And he was
You're
like,
yeah,
70, and he's like,
it's
and
Was
he's
your
like
GPA
70.
1.5?
No.
No, okay, I was gonna say, that's
It was a
passing.
3.0. Guess what? Guess what a 3.0 is? 75% out of 100. Because why? There's only 4. And it looks good. See? That's all I'm saying.
Relax, dude.
No,
Don't break it down.
okay?
He's
That's it. I'm
upset.
going to start flipping tables out here. No, okay.
Dude, that camera has been shaking for like the last, like it's just been like, help me.
I will say this is the first time I've seen Adam so animated.
No,
right
okay.
now.
It was
Okay.
about a grade.
Okay. And it's cool. For obvious purpose, I'm
can see you. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna say I overachieved. I got B's. Anyways, but from a critical review, a 7 out of 10 is not the biggest deal. And I'm gonna be honest, a 6 out of 10 isn't a big deal either.
5 and no. Honestly, I get worried when I start seeing the 5, 4s, and 2s and 1s.
Yeah.
When I start seeing like a lower than a 6, then I'm a little worried. But honestly, 7 out of 10. This is a solid. It's respectable.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's honestly, it's a really cool show. I
The
like
thing
it.
I'm getting about these reviews is that now I'm starting to realize that video gamers are not good critics for TV shows.
Oh
No.
no.
Because when it comes to the adaptations,
Except for Halo.
that's the point. I don't understand
Yeah.
it. It's like you're getting an audience of people saying that the Halo TV show was good, and people are raving on its reviews. The audience, right? They're giving it 8s, they're giving it 9s, they're giving it 10s, and I'm like, this is garbage television.
So my dad watches our episodes. He watched the one about the Halo ones, right? He never finished Halo. He finished Halo the other day, and he comes in my room. He's like, I feel like you guys didn't understand the story of
what
Halo."
story was there to talk about?
He loved it for some reason. He goes, it's a love story, Rene. I'm like,
About
"Dad,
what?
I don't know.
Who's
Hey,
in love?
hey, one man's trash is another man's treasure.
Oh my god.
All right?
I feel like I'm
That's
taking
true.
crazy pills.
But mind you, my dad loves Jonah Hex, the movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
wait,
loves
Joe-
iRobot. He loves
iRobot was
Hey man,
bad.
iRobot's not that bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Robot is great.
I know. I like how everybody turned on you. Like they were like, yeah, Halo, Jonah Hex, iRobot. Whoa, hold on.
Hey, whoa, yeah.
Hey, whoa.
But he watched
iRobot's good.
iRobot. Like, no, I'm saying it's good too, but it's like he watched iRobot for like every weekend. When it came on DVD,
okay, yeah.
he watched it every Saturday morning.
I don't
which
see a
is-
problem with that.
I just
That's a bit
hear,
much.
I just hear the main menu playing, and I'm like, my dad's awake now. It's just like,
Now I'm awake.
Okay, So
yeah, he just for some reason he's like, you guys didn't understand Halo.
no, we do understand Halo.
Yeah, I
There's
know.
nothing to understand. That's it.
Anyway, that's besides
Resident
the point.
Evil
Resident Evil
is at a 1 amongst the audience. Everyone
Really?
hates it because apparently it doesn't follow the existing storyline to Resident Evil. Here's my take on this, okay? Tell me a proper Resident Evil storyline without laughing.
Oh, the video game.
The
was.
video game.
Oh yeah.
You can't because it's so wacky. It's all over the place. It's Capcom.
Yeah.
Capcom does not know how to write a good story.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but
They
like
know how to do really good gameplay.
they do.
Yeah.
But when it comes to story, it's like plot point, plot point,
Yeah,
plot
like-
point. Where does
It's-
it connect?
it's definitely-
Figure it
it's
out.
definitely confusing. Or what was it like? They'll have like a bunch of plot points, and they'll go like, "Oh yeah, remember this like obscure thing we mentioned 5 games ago? That was important.
That was relevant.
Yeah.
We haven't mentioned it
Yeah.
in like 10 years."
Like me and Adam were talking, like in Resident Evil 4, when Krauser comes into the game, we're like, wait, who's this guy? Like,
yeah, it's an obscure character.
yeah, we don't
from
know.
an
Like,
early
and-
game.
Yeah.
Y'all forget Resident Evil 2. We're talking about the video games first of all, okay? Resident Evil 2. Leon Kennedy's a rookie police officer.
Yeah.
In a couple years, the guy is trying to save the president's daughter in Resident
Oh yeah,
Evil
he's
4.
like he's already
Yeah.
like a special agent.
Yeah,
already,
exactly.
yeah.
It's like
When-
when did that happen? Oh, there's another existing storyline.
There's a
in
lot of stuff we
between.
don't question.
Which is
Yeah.
also which is also weird too, because I mean, even if he got credit for surviving Raccoon City, Umbrella covered it up.
Yeah,
So he escaped a nuclear blast. That was like it was nothing heroic.
that's the thing. Yeah.
Like he saved a couple of people, but that was about it.
Plus, and then you would think that Umbrella would keep tabs on
I thought-
survivors.
I thought they would have destroyed and discredited Leon.
So,
Yeah.
but there's the problem
Yeah.
because guess what happened? Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, all Raccoon City, right? But then, right, when we think that the nuclear bomb explosion killed off all the zombies and covered up all of, what happened in Raccoon City, then you have Outbreak Files number 1, Outbreak Files number 2. And according to that, apparently Umbrella Corporation tried to cover up what happened in Raccoon City, but didn't because then we get certain files in Resident Evil 5.
I just
that
love.
happened.
I love the fact that there is a joke later on where it's just like, this all happened because you let something break out of your facility. Obviously, you guys are not great at containing things.
No.
yeah.
There's a literal joke about it, and I was like, that's hilarious.
Yeah, in
Because
the show,
that-
right?
Yeah, because Resident Evil, because the Umbrella Corporation, really great at making medicine, not great at holding it in the lab.
So,
Like-
aside from the video games, right?
Yes.
This series is adapting the foundation of what the video games are about.
Yes.
We've seen the movies, we've played the games. Can we all say that?
Yes.
Yeah.
You haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen the show yet.
We're going to try to convince you to watch it.
So
No, I'm
the-
gonna watch it.
Okay,
I'm
so
gonna
we
watch
don't
it,
need to
yeah.
convince you to watch it. You're going to watch it.
So
I will say this.
You haven't finished.
I haven't finished, but you have, so we'll get into spoilers the last 5 minutes, okay, of the end. But I will say this. The biggest thing I love about this is that it's making the biggest threat of the franchise a legitimate threat. The one thing I did not like about the movies was that it exaggerated Umbrella Corp as this weird pharmaceutical company that everyone was okay with when technically you shouldn't be given everything that you saw, right? Here, they're making it an actual pharmaceutical company by having them create a depression pill that is based off the T virus, which, if you're a fan of Resident Evil, is what causes the zombie outbreak.
And at this point in the story, Raccoon City has already happened. What was it? I'm assuming also Code Veronica.
Basically,
Because
those events have happened because,
all the events. I think all the events up to 5 have already happened. Because the way that they're talking about it in the show, I think they mention things like little tiny things like William Birkin. Like there's like a little mention of William Birkin, and I was like, did they just mention William Birkin in the show?
Who was he again?
William Birkin. He was one of the scientists on the T virus.
Oh, that's right.
But
yeah.
also, William Birkin was also a member of STARS as well. He was the other guy that betrayed the STARS members. He was working with Albert Wesker.
Was that in 2?
Yes, he's the guy with the knife on his shoulder.
Yes,
on
yes,
his,
yes,
on his
yes.
arm. That's William Birkin.
That's right.
So, so you have William Birkin. You also Resident Evil's weird.
But we love it.
So they mentioned William Birkin, and they were just like, oh yeah, there's a scientist named William Birkin that was studying X, Y, and Z. And then you also have Albert Wesker. I feel Wesker is so interesting just because, for one, it's not the Wesker you know.
Yes and no. because keep in mind, Wesker was not evil until Resident Evil
I'm gonna tell you right
3.
now, there is definitely an evil Wesker in this show.
Exactly, which is fine because you played all the Resident Evils, right? So remember there was a DLC in Resident Evil 5
Yeah.
with Jill and Chris going into the mansion?
Yeah, going into the mansion. It's the mission. It's the mission you see in the very beginning.
Yes, right? And that's where they find out that Wesker was the one that essentially like initiated
Yes.
most of the outbreak to actually happen, right?
Yeah, and he's also the one that's been developing Ouroboros, and he's basically been the mastermind for everything.
Exactly, right? So that's the thing is that if you follow Resident Evil up like from 3 all the way to where it's at now, Wesker's just an evil dude, hands down. That's all you know, right?
He's like a mad scientist.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But
he
if
is.
you were a fan since the beginning, you know that Wesker wasn't.
He was a minion.
Yeah, he was a minion essentially, and we didn't know he was a minion until further on into the series. So for me, seeing this version of Wesker, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Oh, also, can you look up the boss from the first Resident Evil movie?
Isn't
From the
it?
first game?
It's not the shark, is it?
No, they have the alligator though. They have the jumbo alligator.
That's right.
The jumbo
yeah.
alligator is in there, but also the what was it the first one that you see with the extended hand?
Mm-hmm.
He's at the end of the show.
Okay, so
But he's like there's no after credit after that one, but he is like this is how the outbreak happens.
okay, so we'll talk about the end portions of the show in just a bit.
Oh, the tyrant.
Yeah, the tyrant's in the end,
Oh,
but he's not completed.
okay.
Oh, really?
So he's
Okay.
he's still like red. You can see his fingers have been extended.
Do you have a photo
and
of it right
everything
there?
else.
Oh, yeah.
So you can look up Tyrant Resident Evil show,
Yeah.
and it should pull you up.
That's dope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tyrant.
This is from the remake of the game.
Yeah, it's not. He doesn't look like that.
Yeah.
We got to wrap up this topic pretty
I'm gonna
soon.
tell you right now, he doesn't look like that.
So let me ask you this, Rene, okay? Because we're going to talk about the end credit spoilers in a bit.
Yeah.
What do you like so far about the first 4 episodes of Resident Evil?
I like the overall stories between the past and present. I'm usually not a fan of that when they do both simultaneously.
You didn't
at
like the
least.
Book of Boba Fett for that reason?
That's the thing. This one, at least the first episode, they did good transitions into that, but it seems like that went out the window after episode 2, because now it's just cuts. It's like boom, 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 and stuff. So, but overall, I like Wesker's daughters. Those are really
Billy
good
and
characters.
Jade,
Yeah,
yeah.
I really like those characters a lot. I love the big dude that's works for Umbrella. Up until
Ralph?
episode 4, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. That I
Yeah.
really liked him too.
Yeah, he was cool.
He's a very Capcom-y character.
Yes, that's what I like. Yeah.
I love his shootout in the
Fourth episode.
In the 4th episode, he has
It's
a
really
shootout
cool.
episode.
He does.
And then he thinks that Jade's following him, and then he kills all the zombies around
Yeah.
him and everything like that. He has
He's doing like John Wick style.
Yeah,
too.
he's doing John Wick stuff. Also, big man doing John Wick stuff.
Right?
Cool as heck. But it was so funny to watch because afterwards, kills all of them, and then he goes, "Jade, did you see that?" And then he looks around and he goes, "Jade."
No
And,
one's around. Yeah.
Nobody's around him because she went somewhere else. He's like, "Hey, where'd you go?"
And then I like this portrayal so far of Wesker in general, and then also the presence of just Umbrella in general.
Cool.
It's very, very scary, and yet you find it like
They're
wow.
messed up people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it.
Which is good. For me, my favorite scene so far, because I've only seen it up to episode 3, the liquor scene. It was very alien-esque.
You just like liquors.
No, but they were threatening. They were super threatening, which is super cool.
They looked
'cause-
really cool.
Yeah, because I like the fact that the liquors can just pierce you with their tongue and drag you out.
Yeah.
It's very aliens. It's pretty cool. I like the suspense that I had with it. I'm with Rene on this one, where Umbrella's corporation is a very threatening presence. It is a very pharmaceutical company-esque
Yes.
atmosphere, which is they're kind of messed up people. How many pills of joy do you need to overdose and to turn into that rat? 20,000. Then we know what to put on the warning label.
Yeah.
It's dude, that's messed up.
Even though that there is a risk of it, it's fine. Also, you actually get to see somebody on Joy, like an actual person,
Oh, normally there's just
like a normal person.
Yeah.
It's pretty insane.
That's not until the further episodes, right?
That's not until the final episode.
So
You get to
let's-
see somebody on Joy.
Let's discuss the last portions of it.
She gives it to her wife. because
No.
her wife is complaining a lot about like her being gone and like what's going on.
Oh, yeah,
So
because
she-
when you see her later on in the show, she's very calm.
and everything else. And then was it like as
Spoilers, by the way.
as Simon is talking to his mom is just like out of it. Like she is not. The hamster is moving, but it has been drunk for a while. And like she even slices her thumb open, her finger open, and he goes like, "Oh my god!" And she goes, "It's fine, I don't even feel it." And she's like completely out of it. So the mom has been drugging her with joy consistently, so that way she's just passable.
It's
Also,
the human trials.
okay, and this is what I meant by Wesker. So the Wesker we have is a clone.
Okay, that makes
So
sense.
Wesker
because they
made 3
mentioned,
clones. So Wesker made 3 clones of himself and then hyper grew them, and then he then had them working on the T virus.
Oh, okay.
So they were the ones that developed the T virus and everything else. Then they figured out that Wesker had a secret lab. Umbrella went to go capture him, and Wesker is menacing as hell because it was so interesting to see Blade. This movie.
Oh, really? He's wearing sunglasses
He's
and
wearing
everything?
sunglasses.
Oh, that's
He
awesome.
has the leather coat.
Is
he
it
has
still-
everything.
He's still
Is
the
it still
same
Rene?
actor. Yeah.
Still the same actor. Still
So
same
they don't
everything
mention
else.
why this version of Wesker is black and not.
Oh, why does it matter?
It doesn't. It's kind of like because
Well,
that's
you
the
mentioned
thing.
it, so obviously it does.
No, it doesn't. It's just interesting though because like
No, they
the
just-
way that most.
you can look him up. Look up the image of him.
It's Mustafa Ali who
Yeah.
plays Wesker in the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh really?
No, it's the same guy that plays him with the girls.
Uh-huh.
He plays him. He
Okay.
plays Wesker. It's really interesting too because he comes down and Mustafa Ali is menacing as Wesker because Albert, Al, and Bert. That's the 3 clones. And then when when Wesker comes down to like talk to all of them, Umbrella breaks in. Bert is Albert is there, and you just see him turn around, and he blows one of his clones' brains out, and he goes, "What?" He goes, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "Getting rid of the evidence." It's so cool because Wesker is.
Oh, is this it?
Yeah.
Oh, so he's got the hair and
He's got
everything.
the
That's
hair and
awesome.
everything.
Nice. I can't wait.
You know what? That's sick.
Yeah, it's
All
really
right.
cool.
So it shows that they are staying true to the source.
Not only that, but also Bert, that's why they keep on referring to him as Al, because this clone's name is Al and the other one's Bert. Al, the reason why he manipulated the girl, so he changed the girls' chromosomes inside of their bodies to make a cure for himself.
Is that what he keeps injecting?
That's what
Yeah.
he keeps injecting
Yeah.
himself is the girl's blood because the girl's blood is what's keeping him alive. Because he was speeding up his the aging. His molecules are breaking apart.
Yeah.
So he needs that blood to keep him alive. So he's been injecting himself with the girl's blood.
Does his eyes glow?
His eyes don't glow yet, but you did see that he is wickedly fast.
Oh, so you get the.
So you,
you know what you're talking about.
so it's super sick. I really liked this, and then they were like, and then later on, Bert, another clone of his. It's so funny because he's never been out of Umbrella, and then he's eating breadsticks with the girls because he escapes while Al's being detained over an Umbrella, and then he goes to go pick up the girls, and he's like driving erratically because he's never driven a car, and then he shows up at an Italian restaurant, and he's like, "Oh, this is supposed. I thought it was an unlimited breadsticks. I want more breadsticks." And she goes, "Okay, we'll finish your basket, and I gift you more." And then he goes, "I want unlimited breadsticks," and he gets it, and he throws the basket on the floor, and he goes, "Get me more!" And so you can see that there is this like rage, and he even says too, like he goes, "We're fine." He goes, "All of us are different, but there is this rage that's all of us where we all just want to like just punch someone in the skull until it breaks
Because of the T virus.
well, not only the T virus but also just Wesker in general."
Yeah.
That's his
And
character trait.
that's just his character trait and everything else. It's really interesting to see both going back and forth, especially to see how much Billy has changed, because you see her in the future, and that is insane.
Okay.
It is a dope
Leave it
scene.
there. Leave it there.
He's like,
'cause
I want to
that-
save something.
That's yeah. Save
It's
something.
a dope scene. I'm just saying, it's a horde.
Okay.
It's
just leave
awesome.
It. Leave
it's
it.
so cool.
I will say, if you are a fan of Resident Evil, give this a shot because
it's
we
fun.
all agree that it's pretty good.
It's a fun show.
But it is interesting because I've tried to explain the plot to Andy.
It's impossible.
It's impossible, and not only that, but she laughs at the part where I say, "Oh yeah, the end of Resident Evil 5, you fight off Wesker
Dude, doesn't
in a
he look cool?
volcano."
Yeah, it does.
Dude, he looks sick.
Yeah.
Leave it. Stop. Don't show me anymore.
Dude, he
So
looks great. He also has you know his voice?
Yeah.
So imagine him doing the best Albert Wesker impression.
Okay, just leave it. That's it. That's it. That's
I'm
it.
gonna binge it.
Yeah.
If you
So
love
good.
Resident Evil, watch it. If you're complaining about it, just remember Chris Redfield punched a boulder and then killed off Wesker in a volcano.
God, he's
Well,
all
that,
just
but
like-
that was the thing I was mentioning is that because they were like, well, whatever happened to Wesker? Like, whatever happened to him? And he goes, oh, he died in a volcano somewhere.
Resident Evil 5.
And that's Resident Evil 5. That's why I was like, okay, so technically the events of Resident Evil 5 have already happened.
Yeah.
Wesker's died in a volcano.
Cool. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of issue 106. Thank you so much for joining us here at Keeping Up with the Nerds. Go check us out on our website, keepingupwiththenerd.com. Follow us on all socials, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. If you're listening to us on an audio platform of your choosing, go follow us on YouTube at Keeping Up with the Nerds. Subscribe, like the video, leave a comment down below and let us know what topics you guys find most interesting or anything you guys want us to expand on. And if you're watching us on YouTube, head on over to an audio platform and go subscribe and follow us on there as well at Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Podbean. Leave a review on either one of those apps. Let us know what you guys think because we're always listening, always interested in hearing feedback of any kind. Just let us know. With that said, are we ready to wrap this episode up? Let's do it.
This has been Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 106. My name is Nick Valero.
Bryan.
Rene.
Adam.
Signing off from Undercity Comics. We'll see you all next